each of your dollars is like your employee working on your behalf.
Ooh,
You
that's
send
good.
them out, they work, they do what they do, and then they come back to you. And if you did a good job, they're coming back to you with friends.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Perpetual Motion, a podcast focused on wellness, communication, personal finance, and positive relationships. I'm your host, Dr. Mo Anderson. In each episode, I interview thought leaders from all over the world who share tips and tools that will add immediate value to your personal growth. Hey, my guest today is Fred Moskowitz, an alternative investment expert, fund manager, and author who trains investors on how to create passive income streams. Listen, if you're worried about retirement, will you have enough? Fearfully living from check to check, the economy, job situation, or you simply want to learn more about alternative investments, please stay tuned and stand by. Welcome, Fred.
Hello, Dr. Mo. Thank you for having me on your show.
It's a delight. This is a topic I have not broached before. We've talked a lot about, I've had personal finance people, accountant, IRS people, but this is a different view of building your legacy and building your savings and investment portfolios. So I'm looking forward to what you have to share today. You have a really interesting background and career, Fred. To begin, just real simply, what is your mission and why is this important to you?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mo. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I started out having a long and successful career working as a computer engineer. And I spent many years working at different tech startup companies. And I loved the work I was doing. But what happened was I watched my entire industry get flipped upside down during the bursting of the dot-com bubble. And right around the same time, we experienced the September 11th terrorist attacks. So there was all this turmoil in the world. And I realized that I was way too dependent on the income for my job because it was a job that I loved, but it was always full of circumstances that were completely out of my control. And I learned that no matter how talented of an engineer I was or how valuable of an employee I was, if things were not going well financially in the industry or at the company, then I could quickly lose my job through no fault of my own. And so this is what led me to the realization that I needed to have other sources of income so that I would not be so dependent on the paycheck from my job. I was taking that huge risk. And so with that led me to the world of alternative investments. I became interested in investing. And the main reason why was with alternative investments, the whole idea is that you're buying and building assets. Okay? Assets that you own, that you control. And the best part about it is they generate income and cash flow for you. So the whole time you're getting paid. And so as you can see, this is what developed into a secondary income source for me. And over the years, I transitioned to focusing exclusively on investing, and then it became my primary income source. But since there are separate assets, they're different, they're diversified from each other, then that gives a lot of stability and diversity into your financial situation. And so my mission today is to teach and educate people about this style of investing and how it can be a part of your life. No matter what work you do, what career you have, there's always room for this. And it's something we don't learn about this in school. It definitely takes self-education to pursue it. And so this is part of my mission, to share these ideas, to teach others, educate, And I love it. I find it so rewarding, and it's just wonderful to see how people grow and evolve from a financial perspective using these concepts.
Okay. And you're changing lives for generations. And that's a really good feeling. I appreciate your passion for this, because you could have just used it for yourself, to make things more stable and valuable for yourself. But you're choosing to share this information with others. So I always like to level set and define things for people who aren't familiar with different terms. And alternative investing, is, you've referenced it. You teach others about it to create passive income, but please define alternative investment generically as you'll be using it today, and give just some examples. And we're going to get more specific about it, but just to make sure everybody understands, what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are alternative investments? The definition I like is that these are investments that are outside of the typical things we learn about, we know about. In other words, investments that are outside of the traditional Wall Street offerings, right? Anything that's not your stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all those type of things. When you work in an employer and you have a 401k plan, what are the options offered in there? They're all different kind of mutual funds and stock offerings. It's all Wall Street products, right? That's the traditional, what I call traditional. So let's talk about alternatives. Alternatives are where you're getting more specific on assets, and it can be things like owning real estate, income producing real estate, not owning the house you live in, but owning property that generates income for you. It gets rented out. Owning mortgage notes, which is the area I focus on in my business, is owning mortgage notes where you are receiving monthly payments. Other alternative investments can be investing in small businesses, being a partial owner of a small business, for instance, whether you're involved in operating it or not, but you're a partner and you have ownership and you're receiving distributions. What about royalties? Royalties from patents, royalties from books, music, digital products. Maybe you have a digital course, an online course, which is very popular now, that you put in the work, you create this asset, and then you sell it on a recurring basis, and it generates income for you. These are all different examples of alternative investments.
Right. And I can't recall who it was, but one of the expert money people that I followed, who's often talking about earned income, your day job, passive income, and then portfolio from your stocks and so forth. And so we're kind of here talking about passive income, and that your money is working for you. And that was the quote, when you're doing okay, you work for your money, but when you're rich, your money works for you. And it just never, and I find that's not true, because most of the people I know who are millionaires and very wealthy, they actually work very hard. But at the same time, I got the point that there are certain types of instruments and investments, like you said, whether it's patents or real estate or merchandise. You may be a small business owner selling merchandise on the website, but you don't have to be there, talking to people and explaining it and taking money and giving them receipts. It is earning while you can go do something else. So this is a really important conversation. And, you said that in your experience that you realized you had been relying so much on your career, on the income, because that's kind of what we're taught to do, just like putting your money in low-bearing savings accounts or a CD or whatever, and becoming risk averse. We're really taught to be risk averse and to work that 9-to-5 job. But when we had the pandemic and I'm a dentist, I'm in healthcare, I'm in insurance, but we were told in school, this is recession proof, depression proof. And then for the first time in history, they're like, no, Dennis, you don't get to work. Mouths just fell open. It was a really big wake up call for us that the only people who could work were doing emergency services. So I just add that to what you said, that if you think you are in an industry or occupation where nothing's ever going to happen, think again, because with new technology and just with things going on in the world like 9/11, that could change in an instant.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's something else to consider, Dr. Mo. What I have found in my experience, when you have income producing assets working on your behalf, I love what you said. It's putting your money to work for you. And I love the analogy. Think of this. Each of your dollars, when they're deployed in that manner, each of your dollars is like your employee working on your behalf. Ooh, you send them out, they work, they do what they do, and then they come back to you. And if you did a good job, they're coming back to you with friends. Right?
I like
that's it. And so that's a really, really important distinction. And what I've found is that this allows all of us to have options and choices in life. When we have alternative sources of income, secondary income, because you're right. The pandemic was a huge wake up call for many people. But what about other situations in life? What if at some point you needed to step away from your work because you have to take time to care for a family member who's in poor health, right? Or maybe you have a newborn and you don't want to just have a couple of weeks of parental leave. Maybe you want more time, maybe months. Well, if you have other income sources, you have the flexibility to be able to do that. And isn't that what we all want in life, is to have options and choices, not have things mandated to us. And so that's a really powerful shift in energy, in the way you think, and in the way you show up in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've touched on it, but what are some of the other risks of having a single income source? Perhaps things you've seen with your clients or just in various industries. I mean, obviously you lose benefits and you lose that income, but what are other risks? Because so many people, that's it for them. So I'm trying to, help them see a little better why you need to diversify.
Absolutely. There's the risk of loss of income, or you have health issues yourself or someone close to you, or you have a major expense that wasn't planned. And for some people that live paycheck to paycheck, if you have a major expense, let's say the engine blows out in your car and it's the only car you have and you need that to get to work, what can you do, right? For some people, it can be devastating. So this is just life scenarios, life situations. But the bottom line is, I feel this is something, part of human nature. We all want to have options and choices. And so that's what this allows, flexibility. If you're not happy with the work you're doing, you can go find something else. Maybe, you get into a spot where you need to leave a job without having the next one lined up already, and you're okay with that, instead of feeling that you're trapped working in an environment that's not suitable for you or you're not happy with. So all of these different scenarios come up, but the main idea is having flexibility and choices.
And what you just said there makes me think about the epidemic of mental health issues that we're having now. And I've heard some people recently talk about being forced to go back to the office. They've enjoyed this the flexibility of working remote, having the family nearby and so forth. And now someone is saying, no, you don't get that option anymore, even though you're getting your work done, showing up, all of that, you have to come back. And the long commutes, the cold office, all of that. There's something about knowing, you know what, I don't have to do this. Even if you keep doing it, it's just knowing you don't have to that helps.
Absolutely, Dr. Mo. I went through a mindset shift myself when I was working as an engineer. I got eventually, and doing well with my investing as well, I got to a point where I came to the realization that I was now earning enough income from my investments to cover all of my living expenses. Right? It wasn't,
nice, right.
It didn't replace my salary, but it at least covered my bare necessities. Mm-hmm. And so the realization was at that point that now I could continue working because I wanted to and not because I have to. And that is a huge shift. I experienced that, and I've seen many other investors as well, that clients and investors I speak with going through that same shift. It's powerful. It really is.
Very, very powerful for the mindset and for your relationships too, the people around you. All of this is impacted. Finances, top cause of divorces, separations, families. It's just a lot. Can you share with us, I do want to hone in on note investing, but can you share with us, before we go to that specific subject, your top strategies for diversifying your income stream?
Yeah, my top strategies, I would say, there's two of them to start with. I recommend everyone look into this. And it's multi-layered. The first one is owning rental real estate. Real estate is a powerful vehicle to build wealth. And whether you're actively involved in managing it or not, there's many different configurations and ways to do it. But it's something that's very powerful. The second one is starting a small business, even if it's on the side. This is something that you grow your skills, depending on what you choose. If it's a hobby you have, see if there's a way you can make it into a business and earn money from it. And so I mentioned these two to start, Dr. Mo. Here's why: because the IRS, our government, and the IRS in the tax code incentivizes two activities more than anything else. And those are owning rental real estate and being a small business owner. And the tax code is set up that way to offer the most tax deductions, tax benefits. They're available to everyone in this country. And so take advantage of that. And like I said, everyone has a hobby, has leisure activities that you like. So find a way, see if you can make it into a business where you're doing what you love and enjoy and earning money at the same time. And so that this can be very powerful. And so I always recommend for everyone, start there.
Those are great strategies, and I can endorse those as someone who's done both since I was in my 20s. And at times it took a good deal of sacrifice to keep them both going in addition to my full-time job, but definitely on the IRS, whether it's your home office or expenses with professionals, so many things, travel related to going to check on properties, look for properties, all legal, and get you out of the hobby thing of with that spouse as well. If you're spending a whole bunch of money and time on this, dear, we need to try to figure out how to generate some income. So those
and it's something you enjoy doing.
Right. So it's not
something
like
you enjoy
work.
doing. So it doesn't seem like it's work.
Absolutely. That's what podcasting in our case.
You could start a podcast about your hobby, about what you like. There's so many things.
Many things.
Yeah.
Note investing. That's the one. I've got my pen poised here because I'm using my PC for everything else.
Yeah.
What is you said it before, but would you repeat what note investing is and how do we get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Note investing means that you are investing in mortgage notes. And this is the main business I'm in. Mortgage notes have some significant benefits, and everyone is familiar with the concept. When you buy real estate, when you buy a property, you can either pay all cash or you can buy it by putting a down payment and financing the balance. And most people have purchased properties in this manner with financing from a bank, from traditional lenders. Well, those loans, those notes being the promissory note, that's what we call, those notes get sold on the secondary market every single day. And I'm sure most people have experiences where you buy a property or you refinance a property, and within 1 to 6 months after you went to closing, you start making your monthly payments, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you get this letter from the lender saying, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, please be advised your loan is being sold to a new lender. Here's the contact information for the new lender, and starting next month, please start sending your payments to them. And by the way, don't worry, none of the terms of your loan will change. Interest rate's the same. The payment amount's the same. Everything's the same. However, please start making your payments to the new lender starting next month." And this scenario plays out all the time. This is the secondary market where loans get bought and sold. They get put into mortgage-backed securities and different Wall Street products. And then after a number of years have elapsed, those get broken down and all the loans get sold again. And so you'll see over the life of the loan, it gets sold multiple times. It passes through multiple hands. Well, it is individual investors can buy these loans. They're usually sold at a discount, sold for less than the amount of the loan balance. And when you do that, you're stepping into the shoes of the prior lender, where you're buying the loan, you're buying it at a discount. It's secured by real estate. So this gives you downside protection of your investment. And the third aspect is you can earn really nice rates of return from doing this. And so there's some different ways to get involved in note investing. You can go out and buy notes and build a portfolio that way. But another way is to invest in a note fund that's professionally managed. And so this is a great option for someone that's a busy professional or a business owner and they don't have a lot of time. And so you can invest in a note fund, and it's a lot more passive because the fund managers are responsible for finding notes to buy and managing them. They have the experience, the expertise, and the relationships in place to be able to buy notes. And then a rate of return is paid out to the investors. And so it's a great option. Now, it's not that one or the other is better. It's more of what's right for your individual situation. If you have a lot of time and you want to get involved in note investing as a business, great. Be active. Be active as a note investor, build up a portfolio. But if you prefer to be a passive investor because you're focused on other things in your life, then a note fund is a great option. And so there's many possibilities out there, and it just comes down to thinking about what fits in best for your life and your situation.
Okay. When you say the return is paid out, do you mean as dividends from the funds, or okay?
Yeah, they get paid out as dividends, either monthly or quarterly. I've seen different configurations.
Okay. And historically, this has been, is it recently or historically, this has been a good investment and a good source of passive income?
Yeah, this has been around for many, many years. What I find is it's not something that's highly publicized. And so it takes having personal relationships to find mortgage notes to buy or note funds to invest in. Usually happens through referrals, through introductions, where you have opportunities like this come up. But, Dr. Mo, this is typical for many alternative investments. Things happen through personal relationships.
Right.
Where you get introduced to people. I love attending investment conferences, industry conferences, and events. And so when you go there, there's hundreds of investors, people that work in the investment space. And so it's great networking. And that's where you have exposure to new opportunities, new possibilities, business relationships, and different things.
So you talked about how people might be really busy and if I don't have time to manage it on my PC, I probably don't have time to go to conferences and so forth. Is this something my financial planner can do for me? If I tell them I'm interested in note funds or no?
I don't know. Each financial planner operates differently. What I've found is most financial planners are restricted in what they can offer to their clients, especially if they work for a larger brokerage house or firm. They have limitations about what they can offer. They're not going to come to you with a real estate deal or a note deal because of different restrictions and compliance and rules from their employer. So it takes doing your own homework and building those relationships yourself.
Do your diligence. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. And I know people who are day traders and other things, and they have, options and a little more skill, just trying to figure out for people who are a little more reticent, because boomers like me, you start talking about mortgage and I'm thinking about Wells Fargo and the real estate collapse and like, oh my goodness, if I do this, what's going to happen? And it's just an emotional thing. You were talking about mindset. That's why I ask about the history of it a little bit for people. If you're not familiar, this didn't just come up 3 years ago with cryptocurrency. This is an investment vehicle that's been around. Right.
Absolutely. It's been around, and banks have been in the business of lending against property for hundreds of years. And we have very good property ownership laws all across the U.S. And remember this, that when a bank lends and creates a mortgage note, the debt documents, the mortgage document or the deed of trust document, depending on which state you're in, that gets recorded in the county courthouse of your county where the property is. And what that does is it puts it on public record that there's a lien, there's an encumbrance against this property. And any time if the property is going to be sold or refinanced, in order to pass clear title, all of those liens need to be addressed. And so that's the security protection for the lender. And so they will always get paid no matter what. It may take some time, but they will get paid, and that's how they're protected. So banks have been doing this for hundreds of years, as I've said, and it's by all means not a new thing at all.
Okay, and it's regulated and all of that. So okay, that's good. That's good to hear, because I got a boomer mindset, but I try to think more broadly, and I'm learning. So my questions are either I want to know or I think somebody wants to know, and you've been very good about answering those. Before we go, go ahead, Fred.
No, I was going to add just that most people have experience being a borrower in this type of transaction. And so I'm sure a lot of the things I'm saying they sound familiar, or maybe you know them in detail. Maybe you work as a real estate agent, or you work in the mortgage industry. You understand some of these concepts or you're familiar with them. And this is how all of this works together.
Understood. Quickly, before we go, I had so many questions. I've tried to make sure I put the ones I think would resonate most first. We may have to do this again, but this question I cannot let you go without asking, because you mentioned it during our pre-call. How can you use retirement account funds to invest in alternative investments?
Yeah, I love this question. This is something that is not talked about. It's little known, and that is the world of self-directed retirement accounts, self-directed IRAs, self-directed 401ks. This is also not something new. It's been in the tax code since IRAs and retirement accounts were established and created. And so what this is it allows you as the account owner to self-direct what type of investments you're investing in. In other words, you can use your retirement account money to invest in a piece of real estate, or you can invest in mortgage notes, or you can invest in a business, small business. Lot of possibilities. And I find that a lot of people, especially the industry I came from, the tech industry, where folks tend to move around, change jobs every couple of years. Right. So they will change to a different company, and they left their retirement account and their 401k money, which is theirs, but they left it in the plan at their old employer. And you can do that, but you also have the option to move that and transfer it into a new account somewhere else at a different custodian. And so there are custodians called self-directed IRA custodians where you can move your retirement account, and then now you can self-direct, where what that means is you can decide to invest in real estate, invest in mortgage notes, and the custodian handles all the transactions. There's definitely rules that have to be followed around this, but it opens up a whole world of possibility, because where in the past you were limited to the Wall Street offerings, mutual funds, stock market, and those type of things, now you can invest in real estate. You can invest in apartment deals. You can invest in small businesses. You can invest in mortgage notes. And so it offers to everyone possibilities, and a great way to put that money to work for you, just like we were talking about before, instead of having it sit there where you don't know what's happening with it.
Right.
I always, there's three questions I ask when I talk to investors about their retirement account, and I'll share these. The first question, Dr. Mo, is, do you know where all of your different retirement accounts are? Do you know? Right? Some people will know. Other people will not be sure, or they'll have to check. And so that's one thing, is to know where all your accounts are. That's important. The second one is, do you know what all of your money is invested in? Do you know? There's different funds. There's all these different things. And do you know where all that money is, and understand how it's invested? Is it diversified appropriately to your liking? All of that. And here's the third question, the most important. Out of all of the places where that money is, do you know anyone that works there? Can you pick up the phone and call someone that you have a relationship that you know, and ask questions, ask for guidance, check on things?
Okay, so you mean, do you know in terms of a professional there to give you advice, not do you personally know someone as a friend?
No, I mean, personally, no. Maybe you never met in person, but over the phone, and you've built a relationship over time. Okay. Yeah, you have a single point of contact.
Gotcha.
So when you go to self-directed retirement accounts, this is what you get. You usually get a chance to build a relationship. You, if you invest in different funds, different projects, you build relationships with the people behind those. And that's important. For me in business, one of the cornerstones of what we do is building relationships with investors, with people we do business with, trading partners, all of that, vendors. Very important. And it's something I really love and enjoy. I find it so rewarding.
Yeah. And it is important. As I blurted out that I was thinking about in terms of banking. I didn't realize that until later in my life, that I needed someone that I could call and say, here's what I'm trying to do, and how much easier it is and how they facilitate it because they know you, your background, the type of business you're in. It's not just, you're on the computer starting over every time. So that's a really, really good point. Even if you don't need anything, particularly when you don't need anything, call and start making those relationships so that they know you. And last but not least, you are the author of the Little Green Book of Note Investing. What can readers expect when they purchase a copy, and how do they get a copy?
Yeah, thank you. The Little Green Book of Note Investing, it's available on Amazon. And I wrote that book to provide a high-level overview of what mortgage note investing is all about. It's a great introduction. We talk about why notes are bought and sold, the secondary market, as I mentioned earlier, and for someone interested to get involved, to get started, how do you go about the process to identify, is it right for you to invest in building a note portfolio, being active and hands-on, or being passive and investing in a note fund, which is the right choice for you? Going beyond that, we talk about how to analyze notes, how to find them, how to perform due diligence, how to manage that portfolio, and several chapters talking about investing in notes using retirement account funds, how to actually do it, how to structure those transactions, and how it can be very powerful because it's a great source of capital, and there's nothing better than being able to benefit from the preferred tax treatment offered by retirement accounts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So folks, if you've enjoyed what you've heard today, I certainly had. It's been eye-opening, and I'm excited to pursue some of my new knowledge, some of these new strategies. Thank you so much, Fred Moskowitz. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, but
no, that's it. That's it.
Sweet. Tell folks how to connect with you, find you online, and I think you've got a special gift too that they can download from your website.
Yes. Thank you. I invite everyone, connect with me, reach out. You can find me by visiting my website, which is fredmoskowitz.com. And if you prefer a little bit of an easier spelling, you can go to giftfromfred.com and it will take you right there. And I have a special offer. I have a special report about note investing. I'm happy to send that out to anyone that requests it. Just sign up on the website. We'll send that out. And I always love connecting with people interested in talking about investing, talking about different strategies. Investors get involved in so many different types of investment areas. I love learning and talking about it and building relationships. As I said, that's the cornerstone of what we do. One more thing, if you prefer, you can text me as well to get in touch. Just text the keyword money to the number 215-461-4433 and then follow the prompts. So I look forward to hearing from you, connecting with you. And Dr. Mo, thank you so much for having me on your show today. It was a pleasure.
It's my great pleasure as well. You've been a fascinating guest. Thank you for those links. Of course, we'll put those all in the show notes. And I'm just smiling to myself because in addition to alternative investments, you've got alternative URLs to your website. That is really, really smart. I'm going to have to look into that. And, again, thank you for joining us, folks. Be sure to check out his book, visit the website, sign up, and get that special report. Until next week, I'm Dr. Mo Anderson. You can reach me at drmoanderson.com. Learn more about my services, products, and books. Until next week, take care. Thank you. And wasn't that a great program? Oh, love that episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Learn more about me on my website, drmoanderson.com. That's MOE. You can read book excerpts, watch videos, learn about my services that I offer, and book me for a speaking engagement. I'd love to talk with your group, and I'd love to work with you. So until the next time, review, renew, and renew. Thank you.